So I like to do the questions and answers on Instagram and Facebook, but there's only so much I can answer in one page trying to write it all out. So I thought I'd start making some of these videos to try and explain in a little bit better detail. So one of the questions that I've had lately that's cropped up quite a lot is about nutrition, diet, food. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that and hopefully try and clear things up for you. So if you are just trying to be healthy, or you're an athlete getting ready for a show, whatever it is your goals are, what foods should you be eating? First, you need to know your goals to make up a plan to what's going to be best to hit your goals. So eating to be the best athlete you possibly can is very different to eating to be as healthy as you possibly can. So the way that works in the body is basically sports like bodybuilding, powerlifting, explosive power sports is going to need a lot of glycogen, and you're going to have to feed the muscle quite often, which means a lot of food eating very often, tons of calories, lots and lots of carbohydrates. Now that will put stress strain onto your health if you're doing that over long periods of time. So it's not the best goal if you want to be healthy. But if your goal is, like mine used to be the best bodybuilder you possibly can, then we know that we need to be putting that little bit of stress on your health to try and get the results that you want to do. It's not sustainable long term, but our bodies can cope with it short spouts of time, providing you do the best you possibly can to stay as healthy as you can. Now, what is a food? What's the definition of a food? So if you read it and look it up in the dictionary, it will say something along the lines as food is a substance that sustains health and life by nutrition. The more nutritionally dense the food is, the better it is as a food. So looking at foods, what's the best foods that possibly are? Obviously that would be the most nutritionally dense ones, such as things like organ meat, liver, shellfish like oysters, eggs, red meat. These kinds of foods are absolutely packed with vitamins and minerals, good proteins, good fats, everything that your body possibly needs to sustain good health. So those are the best kinds of foods that you're eating. However, if you're eating a food that has little to no nutrients in it, is it really a food? So the more you process a food, the more of the vitamins, minerals, the good nutrients are lost out of that food. So here's a good example. Say we get some rice. You grow the rice, you cut the crop, you have to make it into a rice. So that means you're doing some kind of process that will strip out some of the important minerals, the fibers, the vitamins. The more that you process it, the more that is lost. So if you made like a wild rice out of that, the process is minimum. It's still fairly high in fiber, lots of B vitamins. It's not that bad. The more fiber, the more lower on the GI chart it will be, so the less it will spike your insulin levels. So basically the better it will be for you. Now we're going to process that rice even more, and we're going to super process it and to make it to a white rice where we polish it, we bleach it. So not only are we stripping out more of the nutrients, it has a lot less B vitamins, a lot less fiber, but we're also putting stuff in there that shouldn't be in there, like bleaching it to make it nice and white and all the things that they do to make it look more desirable. So now that white rice is a lot less healthy than the original wild rice. And then we go to the extreme where we ultra process that rice and make it into, say, cream of rice, which is a very desirable supplement for a lot of bodybuilders these days. When you look at the whole process of making cream of rice, you've stripped everything out of it. There's pretty much nothing left but glycogen. So now it's a really simple carb, and the whole selling point will be it's so easy to digest. Basically, there's no nutrition in it whatsoever. It's like eating a bag of sugar. So yes, you will digest it very quickly, but it will spike your insulin through the roof, and there's no nutrition in it. So it's not really a food, is it? So if your goal is to be the best athlete you possibly can, then the foods you should be eating are the ones most nutritionally dense. Yes, you're going to need tons of protein, good fats, and a good amount of carbohydrates. But why eat anything that doesn't have any proper nutrients in it when you could be? So my thoughts are, if you're going to eat carbohydrates, then you're going to eat ones that are a lot less touched and processed. Say like sweet potatoes, yams. You take it out the ground, you wash it, you cook it, you eat it. The processing of that is so little that it's packed with lots of nutrients, lots of fibers. That carbohydrate is pretty good for you. If you're going to eat tons and tons of potatoes on a daily basis, it still will put strain onto your body and your health, but a lot less than if you were eating, say, cream of rice. So again, if you're going to eat tons of food, make the foods as healthy as possible, as nutritionally dense as possible. And it's not really what you eat, it's what you absorb. So looking after your body, getting a good healthy gut microbiome will allow you to absorb and get a lot more of the nutrients out of the food. Whereas two people could be eating exactly the same diet. One will take in a lot more nutrients than the other. The one will be a lot more healthier and make better gains even though they're eating the same foods. So it's really important to look after your health in every aspect, especially your gut. So we have probably like 39 trillion microbiome in our gut, little bacteria that live in our gut. There's good ones, there's bad ones, we have parasites, we have viruses, there's all sorts that live in there. But to maintain a good healthy gut, you've got to keep feeding the good ones and not the bad ones. So basically eating bad foods are going to strip a lot of the nutrients out of your body and also kill off the good bacteria in your gut because you're not feeding them. The good bacteria live off fiber, and fiber comes from plants. Every single plant has a different kind of fiber. Different microbes eat different fibers. So the key to a really good, healthy microbiome is eating lots of different plants. So obviously fruits are pretty high in fructose, so you want to limit the fruits, but the vegetables, especially green leafy ones, have so little. It's all fibrous carbs. You can eat tons of it, as much as you want. If you have a problem digesting it, that's a good indication that your microbiome is off and you need to take some time trying to build it back. Certain foods really good to help your microbiome would be fermented foods like sauerkraut's one of the best ones. It's basically just fermented cabbage. Now, cabbage is really high in vitamin C, super high actually, so it's good for your immune system. It's high in vitamin U, which really helps healing ulcers and stuff in the digestive tract. It's also got lots of good bacteria in the cabbage. And when you ferment it, you get 10 times more. So you're getting this kind of double whammy of the vitamin U's really helping your gut, as well as the good bacteria you're putting into it. So that is an ideal food to eat to try and help your microbiome. Things like kefir, anything fermented really is really going to help. But a good wide range of different vegetables on a daily basis is really going to help to build a good microbiome. Other than that, you're going to need tons of good proteins and good fats. So that's going to come from, like I was mentioning before, egg yolks, red meat, shellfish like oysters, salmon, mackerel, liver, one of the best ones up there. I myself is not that keen on liver, but I know how super dense it is in nutrients. So what I do, I got a big mince meter. I put loads of beef through the mince meter, as well as say 70-80% beef, 20 to 30% liver, mince it all together. Different spices, different herbs, put some onion in there, comes out and make little patties into burgers. I know exactly what's in it. There's nothing bad in it whatsoever. And that's a way of getting lots of liver into my diet. Even though I don't like liver, I can't really taste it when it has that much other flavors in there. Bind it with a couple of eggs you get good patties. So that's one way, one of my little secrets, how I get lots of nutrients into my diet. If you're really struggling to eat the vegetables, maybe just blend up a little smoothie. The key to good smoothies, I mean, obviously, if you're just packing it full of vegetables, it's going to be a bit bitter and nasty tasting. So you need to have some fruits. If you put too much fruit in there, there's got too much fructose sugars in there. So a nice little ratio. Again, I use just a couple of sweet fruits, maybe a little bit of mango or strawberries. Berries are better because they are a lot lower in the fructose. But lots of green leafy vegetables, things like celery. I stick a bit of watermelon in there, beetroots. I mean, the watermelon and the beetroot's really going to help to produce nitric oxide, which really increases blood flow. So if you had that before the gym, you'd get better pumps, but it's really good just to get the blood going around your body. And I chuck in lots of different herbs and spices in there as well that have different health benefits, and they aid and help towards the taste of it. So one of those little smoothies a day is a lot better if you can't manage to eat that many vegetables. Going back to the amount of foods that you're eating, again, if you are an athlete, you're probably going to have to eat every 2 to 3 hours to feed the muscle and be the best athlete you can. If your goal is to be as healthy as possible, then I recommend you do a lot of fasting, cut the meals down to once or twice a day. I mean, the less you eat, the better, but make sure when you do eat that the foods you eat are as nutritionally dense as possible. That's the key to fasting, really. Making sure you have enough good proteins and fats that will sustain enough calories. Your metabolism will slow down, so you won't get the hunger. But also, say if you focusing purely on health, you want to cut all carbs completely, cut your meals right down, you will drop a lot of water weight. When the glycogen and water comes out your body, it will strip a lot of important minerals. Your electrolytes will come out with that water. So it's really important to get the electrolytes back in. If you drop calories too low too quick, you might get banging headaches, you feel weak, you feel like crap, and that's normally because you're dehydrated from all the electrolytes coming out. So make sure you drink enough fluids, and with the fluids, take some good sea salt. Could be pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, packed with all the minerals that your body needs. Or get yourself a nice, some of these electrolyte drinks are quite nice taste, and as long as they're not packed full of sugar, that's going to be better than having nothing. So I hope that's cleared a lot up for you. Cramming copious amounts of junk foods to get the calories in are going to have a massive effect on your health in the long run. It's really not just as simple as calories in and calories out. Obviously, it does play a role. You have to be conscious of the amount of calories going in, but the foods that you eat and different foods you eat will affect your body and your hormones in many different ways. However, eating junk foods and simple carbs are going to spike your insulin levels massively. Insulin levels are going to go through the roof, and your sugars go up, then they crash down. Ghrelin goes through the roof, which is a hunger hormone that's going to make you eat more junk. So staying away from the simple carbs is going to have a massive impact. Don't pig out on the junk and the crap. They're all full of poisons, bad oils, all these things that long term are going to have a massive effect onto your health. You need to help this body as much as possible. Human body is amazing. It's very resilient. It copes with a lot. It survives a lot. That doesn't mean to say that it's thriving. So it's like seeing that person, he's 80, 90 years old and smoked all his life. You're like, well, he's fine. He's 80, 90 years old. Do you think his body's as healthy as it could be? He's destroying his lungs on a daily basis. It's amazing that his body has lived to that age. He's surviving amazingly because the body is amazing. But if you want to not only live longer, but live a healthier, better life, then you need to help your body to give it what it needs. But more importantly, make sure you don't put the poisons and the crap in the body that it doesn't need. It's just going to have to work a lot harder trying to get all that out. So yeah, just to clear it up, if you want to be healthy, make sure the foods you're eating are as nutritionally dense as possible. More so if you are an athlete, the foods you eat are going to affect your performance. If you're eating tons of junk, you're going to perform a lot better if you wasn't eating that junk. So think about that. Just because you see everybody these days, any excuse to eat junk because it tastes amazing. They pay scientists thousands and thousands of pounds to make poison taste amazing and be very addictive. So once you start eating those foods, your body's going to crave it and want more. You create a worse microbiome. The microbiome is going to tell you that it wants more too, which has a massive effect. So just don't eat that junk in the first place. You need to rewrite the stories in your head, because to me, if you say to me, oh, do you want a treat? Of course I want a treat. Treats are yummy. What's a treat in your head? Most people relate a treat to a poison or a junk. So that's not a treat, is it? You're not treating your body. You're making it work hard by trying to get the poison out of your body. A treat to me would be like a big delicious ribeye steak. It's expensive. I don't have it that often, so that is a treat to me. And I don't know about you, but if I ever eat cake and ice cream, the thought of it's great, and I put it in my mouth, I'll go, that's nice. And that's it. It wasn't that nice. The thought of it was a lot nicer than it was. When I cut that steak, I'm not sure that the flavors burst into my mouth. I cannot help my body go, It just makes those noises involuntary. I can't help it because it's that delicious. To me, that's a treat. A big seafood platter with lobsters and oysters and king-size prawns and salmon, mussels. I do these big spreads. That is a treat to me. That is delicious. Not some lab-made poisonous crap that's going to spike your insulin levels and just have massive drastic effects on your health long term. Most people, when they get older and they get sick, they just think, oh, it's because it's old age. That's not the case. You've gotten sick because of what you've done on a daily basis from the last 30, 40 years. So help your body to be a bit more healthy, help your body to perform better as an athlete. Don't eat the junk. Make sure the foods you're eating are highly nutritious.